We're here at Materra Vineyard in Napa with Chef Jon Sodini and Chef Arbel Mosqueda, and we are pairing food and wine. But before we start the pairing and ask you questions about why you chose these pairings, tell me a little bit about your background, Jon, because I know you've got a storied background as a chef.
Sure, yeah. You know, I started cooking when I was a kid. My first job was dishwashing in a pizza place, the first job I can get as a teenager. And I've been in kitchens ever since. I went to Le Cordon Bleu Portland back in the day, and spent a term in Le Cordon Bleu Paris.
And cooked for a president or two, I understand.
Yeah, yeah. President Barack Obama cooked him a nice lunch.
He liked it?
Yeah, he loved it. Loved it. Cooked for Vice President Al Gore, President of Kenya, Turkey, quite a few. Yeah.
I feel honored. Now you're going to cook for me.
That's right.
and Arbel. You're both gonna, so let's talk about the pairing here. Tell me your impressions of the wines here at Materra and how you determined what dishes to pair with these wines based on the character of these wines.
Sure. So, man, these wines are elegant and dreamy.
They are.
Starting from all the way the Cunat left bank and then all the way up to the 1856. They are just phenomenal. What I do with wine pairings is I taste the wine first and I see what familiar flavors are and what I think would be good to compare and contrast. And then I create a menu and pairings to go along with those said dishes.
Right.
To really accent the wine and play with it. It should be a dance between the plate and the wine.
That sounds good. Now, what are the dishes you chose? And tell me why those are perfect matches for these wines.
Sure. So starting with the first Bordeaux right here, we have a wonderful duck confit. So this wine, the Right Bank 2013, it's you know, it's a great strong Merlot Bordeaux, but it is so elegant and so fruit-forward, a little peppery, a little bit of Niçoise olives. I really thought that a nice rich duck would really bring that out. So I confit slow and low some duck with a little bit of star anise and a little bit of lavender. Wow. And I served that with some Bloomsdale spinach, some seared cipollini onions. I cooked the farro in some duck fat. Just to soften it up, and then I made a pomegranate marmalade, and I thought that would really contrast and balance with the pepperiness and the medium richness of this wine.
And it's not every day you hear that lavender is part of a dish. That's amazing.
Yeah, for me, lavender and anything confit is so beautiful. Yeah, and maybe it's the fact that there's lavender all over the ground, but I get a lot of lavender in all their reds. It's really subtle and beautiful. So right here, with one of my personal favorites, the Cunat Reserve, another Merlot heavy red. It's a seared pork belly. So I slow cooked the pork belly, let it sit, and then pan seared it. I'm serving it with a black pepper buttermilk, a little bit of green beans, some fried sage, a cherry coulis, and nasturtium.
Looks really good.
This is a little more peppery and a little more sublime. So I think the richness of the pork really balances well with the wine.
That makes sense.
And then the pepperiness of the nasturtium and the black pepper really brings out that Merlot grape quality.
Got it. And the next dish, and the next wine, I should say.
We have a Cabernet Sauvignon 2013, the Hidden Block. Again, another elegant wine. Get more to the big-bodied wines. There's a lot of elegance to this, and to me, it screamed like burnt ash. So I did some whipped potatoes that I put a local cheese that was wrapped in some burnt vegetable ash, and I whipped the potatoes with that cheese. And then I did some sous vide beef cheeks, which when you sous vide, it just takes down all the connective tissue and makes it really tender. Did a bone marrow au jus to bring out more of that elegance in the wine. And then I charred some really cool hen of the woods mushrooms. Again, just try to bring it all around.
Sounds good to me, yeah.
This wine is so balanced and perfect and medium that I thought it would be a good umami balance to it. For the Diamond Mountain Cabernet Sauvignon 2014, which I just had, and it's so good. It's so good. I decided to go ahead and braise down some veal. Last night I made some black pepper pappardelle pasta and rolled it out. So we did a veal ragu, which is slow cooked with red wine, heirloom tomatoes, and confit Monviso garlic. The black pepper pappardelle, and then of course some Parmesan Reggiano on top, and some black truffles, just to really hit in the gut that forest floor flavor that comes from the wine.
So Jon, as you taste any individual wine, does a certain food dish come to mind right away, or do you have to think about it for a while and go through the list of flavor profiles you want to match up?
You know, of course, when we taste these wines and we come up with our menus, we go by flavor profiles and what we taste and compare and contrast. You know, it's easy as a chef just to say, oh, I like this dish, so I'm going to pair it with this wine.
Right.
But really the wine always comes first, and that should be the focus. when I taste an incredible wine like the one that's next on the list, I want to make a night out of it. I want to make it be. I want to feature that wine and dance with it. I want it to be the star.
Like the way you talk. I want to feature that wine and dance with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move along. Well, you got to
Okay.
prepare some food here?
Yes, I am. So to pair with the 1856 Cabernet, which is their really, really special
Oh, yes.
Cabernet, 2015. When I get into this wine, it is so big and elegant and lush. And to me, Arbel is the lamb guy, so we just, when he tasted this, he was like, man, we got to do a lamb. We got to do a rack of lamb. There's nothing else.
You know, I like the way you describe this one. It is big, but it's also elegant.
It is.
Very often you get one or the other, but this is a beautiful marriage of power and intensity and
It
concentration and elegance and style.
And the finish lingers so long, it's just, it almost makes you want to cry a little bit. So we have a
You got me there.
great rack of lamb here, some local Sonoma rack of lamb,
Okay.
nice and Frenched. We're going to go ahead and sear this off. So when I do lamb, I like to keep it a little on the rare side.
All right.
Give that a little patience here.
How hot is the pan before you put the...
You want it to be smoking hot.
Yeah.
So we'll give a little patience.
Okay.
Now, pairing with this dish as well, I want the lamb to be the star. There's a lot of great undertones to it as well. So I tasted some sorrel, which I think is really fun. It kind of tastes like green strawberries and chervil.
Right, yeah.
And it's in season, so win-win.
Yeah.
So we made a really nice sorrel chimichurri that actually Arbel made with cipollini onions and other florals that bring out and contrast the lamb. For a starch, I wanted something like a bean, like a butter bean, because it's so rich and soft at the same time, and it helps continue the linger of that wine.
Right, right. That makes sense.
So now that the oil, of course, is starting to run pretty well,
Oh, yeah.
just make sure we got enough seasoning on there, a little salt and pepper.
Just plain old salt and pepper. You don't need anything fancier, right?
No, let's let the lamb be the star here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, some meats that you need a doctor up.
Yeah, right.
Because there's just not enough going on.
Yeah.
But for me, I try to use the best quality meat I can possible.
Sure.
So I like to.
And if you got a great piece of meat, you should, as you said, let that be the star. Yeah.
The farmer did all the hard work here.
Right.
I'm taking all the credit, but the farmer did the hard work.
Exactly.
And it did some really nice stuff by grass feeding this lamb.
So to cook this at the temperature you want, how long does it take?
It's really quick sear, actually. I cook mine rare, so it's a pretty quick sear.
And suppose someone would like it medium, for just a minute or two?
A couple minutes longer.
Yeah, that's it.
I like to use the smaller racks so I can, of course, cook a lot faster.
Of course,
but it's a
right.
little more delicate to work with.
Yeah.
So when I sear meats as well, I like to baste.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
seal the flavor back into it and just bring the flavor
That makes perfect
right
sense.
back around.
Yeah.
Speeds up the process, brings down the chill on the outside.
Now, if you're going to let the lamb be the star, as you said,
Yes.
how do you determine what other items to put on the plate? You don't want to overdo it, right?
That's great.
You don't want
yeah, there's
Upstage the star.
exactly.
Right.
There's so many flavors in this wine, particularly. So I look for the big ones.
Right.
I think it's a little brambly, so that's going to go great with lamb. Some wild huckleberries, those kind of things I think would naturally contrast with lamb.
Got it.
And complement it at the same time. Lamb is so gamey, and most people don't like it. But for me, the rack is like the perfect elegance of wine.
Yeah.
But then there's the other flavors in the wine as well, the smaller, more subtle flavors. The subtle acidity, the lingering finish, the rose petals. I get rose petal on this dish, which I thought was really cool. And for those, I like to contrast and compare with my side dishes. I also have some parsnips I prepared with this dish as well. Just blanched them and seared them because I get kind of that sweet parsnip flavor, almost menthol, but not.
Yeah.
That comes in a lot of calves, but it's really distinct in this dish.
It is.
And so I really want to play with that and kind of bring that to the forefront.
Got it. Got it.
So while this is going, my sous chef Arbel here is going to grab me a plate because this is going to get done pretty quick.
Yeah. Looks like it's getting there.
It's getting there. You know, as you baste it, it really does come to life. Now, as a chef, I always like to let my meat rest as well.
Let it rest?
Let it rest. You know, everything in there is really hot, and so the juices are awake and alive. And if you cut it while it's really hot, it comes out and you're letting your wine down.
Got it.
So,
Got it. So how long does it rest? I mean, I know it sounds like a crazy question, but just
depends on the
minute?
size. A few minutes, couple minutes really for this. Since this is such a small size, we're gonna let it rest a few minutes.
Right.
You know, all the liquid inside is like this, and so we want it to You know,
Let it
chill.
all come together, right?
Relax.
Yeah,
Take
that's
it
it,
easy.
yeah. And while it's doing that, you can always sip more wine.
Yeah, it's another excuse to get into the next bottle of the wine, right? So when it comes to plating these particular dishes, you know, the butter beans, of course, are just really simple.
Are
They're
these easy to
cooked.
find, these beans?
They, you know, I
in
get
food
these
stores?
from Ikopi Farms in Half Moon Bay. So I try to buy everything I can super local.
Right.
And you can find them at specialty stores. I found these at Whole Foods the other day. And I thought,
There you go.
jackpot, this is exactly what I want.
And you can probably find really good cuts of meat at many stores, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's so many great stores if you drive around Sonoma that feature local lamb and local beef.
Right.
You can just stop by one of those and they'll set you right.
Oh, look
So,
at this.
yeah, as you can see, the sear on that
Yeah, I
is
can see.
really
yeah,
come
look at
together.
that. That's amazing.
I want a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
So
a
let's
little bit more.
let it go.
I like a little bit more too. I don't like it too rare. So
Oh, sure.
the more sear, the
The more sear, the better we are.
yeah. There you go.
It's more caramelization, more flavor. So with
And-
these are parsnips that we just did a nice mark off. Just
Do
have
they have,
marginal line.
do they naturally have that little buttery appearance, or
When you cook them, it really comes out. And this is another organic local product. So we, you know, the better quality of the product you can find in local, it's probably going to taste a little bit better because it's not traveling across the country.
of course, right? You want to go local and seasonal as much as you can.
That's my philosophy. You know,
Right.
just try to support your local guys and don't let it travel across country. You can get it down the street, you're in luck. But as you cook it as well, the color really comes out.
Yeah. Right.
So we steam this off and then we sear it hard.
And the
Right.
beans don't take long to cook, the butterings, right?
If you soak them ahead of time overnight, they cook really fast.
Okay.
So you can probably cook an hour. I cooked mine in a little bit of chicken stock, which is really neutral, some bay leaves and other herbs, and toss in a little bit of fennel and chervil.
And when you've got all these other really, I don't want to say forward flavors, but bold flavors, you don't need to. You need some neutral. flavors
really
as
do.
well.
You
so
really
there's some
do.
balance. You don't want
really do.
competing flavors.
No, you don't want to, you know, compare and contrast is one thing, right? Because
Right.
you want to compare and contrast with the wine, which is so much fun. But you don't want the flavors to compare and contrast with each other. So if you have something in the wine that's just screaming, don't do this, don't do it.
Don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, it's
Makes
sometimes the best wine pairing is the simplest pairing. You know, for me, a peppery cab with some wild arugula that you just toss with a
There
little
you
bit of local Argentina olive oil and a sea salt, just to accent the pepperiness of that.
The pairing does not have to be a complicated thing. You know.
It
can be
does.
pretty simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes start simple. When you start simple, you can come up with the best results.
Yeah.
So the lamb's almost done. More basting. Yeah, it gets a little
That's
dangerous.
right. I'm
little
backing off a
dangerous.
little bit. Yeah.
But I'd say we're looking pretty good.
It looks pretty good to me.
So let's go ahead and let this chill. It sounds angry.
Right.
So let's let it chill. here.
Sounds angry. And the flavors continue coming together.
They do.
Even as you let it rest there. Yeah.
Exactly. They're relaxing. They're chilling. At this time, I'll go ahead and take my chimichurri, give it a little stir.
Right.
Chimichurri is a great condiment that goes with wine. It's, you know, I use a modern chimichurri approach, which is the traditional chimichurri is onions and garlic and red wine vinegar and oregano.
Right.
For this one, we use sorrel and chervil and chives,
Ah.
cipollini, onions and garlic, and a local Cabernet Sauvignon vinegar as well to
But
keep it in line.
It'll go with a fairly wide range of red wines, though, right?
It does,
Yeah.
generally, and you can just choose what herbs you want to put in it to compare with it.
Got it.
Like I was telling you, this was wine screaming sorrel to me, and so I had to make a chimichurri out of it.
Well, when the wine screams, you have to respond.
You have to listen, man. I mean,
That's
you
right.
can't argue with the wine.
No,
Um,
I try not to do that.
yeah, but there's something about the richness on the nose too. It's again, it's to me, it smells like a good seared piece of lamb.
You know,
So it just cries out to you.
that brings to mind another question. The bouquet, the nose, and the wine
Mm-hmm.
is really important. So is the aroma of the food, right?
It is, yeah.
Not just the taste, but the aroma as well.
That richness that I'm smelling in it, I want them to feel that again when it's in front of them.
Right.
I want to make it a little more obvious because I was really excited when I tasted this wine, and I want everyone to be excited as well.
That's great.
So
Good philosophy.
when it starts being cool enough to touch, then you know
Then
you're
it's cool
probably
enough to put on the plate.
okay slicing it.
Okay.
Again, sometimes I'd just rather not cut the meat at all than cut it too early.
Right.
So there's
How
always a
often do you
hesitation.
burn yourself or cut yourself when you're doing this?
Cut myself, it's been a decade. Burn
that's good.
myself, it's been a day. So burns happen.
Yeah, they do.
But as you can see, it's a beautiful rare on that lamb.
That is lovely. That is just
Yeah,
so
it's-
visually appealing, as food should be.
Of course.
Yeah.
So when I do my lamb racks,
Look at
I
this.
start with
Oh,
one,
look at that.
and then I shingle them around.
Yeah. Perfect.
Again, your lamb's your star, so that's what you want people to see first.
There you go.
A lot of people like their lamb cooked a little more.
Yep.
I would disagree, but to each their own.
Exactly. And the Materra wines are the co-stars.
They are. No, they're the rock stars. This 1856 to me is just, it's one of the best wines I've ever had.
Oh, it's an amazing wine.
It is.
It truly is.
I really wanted to make them something special, and I wanted to make something that is personal to me. And chimichurri is one of my favorite sauces.
Yeah.
It's what I made for the President of the United States of America.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
I wanted to share that as well.
And
of
how did
course,
he like it?
I licked his plate almost. Not literally, but,
But I know what you mean.
It was
He cleaned
pretty
it.
empty.
The plate didn't need to be washed.
Did not. It looked pretty clean.
Yeah.
Chervil
Yes.
and a little bit of fennel. Chervil is like a softer, milder basil, and fennel just to bring out more of those terroir flavors that come in the Cabernet.
Look at that.
And that's a simple, fun little wine dish.
Okay. And soon I guess we'll get to taste it, right?
It's coming up pretty quick, so I hope you're hungry.
I'm very hungry and thirsty, I might add.
Well, cheers.
Okay.